It's great to be back. It's good to see familiar faces, certainly. I'd like to thank the city of Omaha for putting on, I think, the best NCAA tournament out there in any sport. For families and young boys that feel that they're going to be college players, this is college baseball heaven. And I know Paul and Mike and Elliott, I think, feel the same way. It's an honor to be here. I think we're one of those teams that people are a little surprised that we are here. We had a very good team last year. We lost a lot of players. We think we earned this trip. We went through one of the most difficult roads, which was Cal State Fullerton, which my assistant at UCLA, Rick Vanderhook, did an unbelievable job. Won over 50 games, which was a very impressive run. So we feel fortunate, but we also feel like we've earned this trip. It's like Elliott. It's the 16 teams that go to those super regionals, and those 3-game series is just a complete grind, and it's almost a relief when you get through that series and have an opportunity to go compete again against some great coaches, great programs, and a great venue. Certainly, there's parity throughout college baseball. I think there's so many programs and athletic departments that are stepping up with their facilities, their resources for their players, for their coaches, for their assistant coaches. It's great to see. You look at the power conferences, everybody knows who they are. Any team could come out of those conferences at any time, but certainly you see some other conferences that come in and go to a regional and have a legitimate chance. So I think it's great. There's great college baseballs being spread throughout the country. You saw ESPN with the bases loaded segment that they had. I thought that was exciting. Going from game to game, it really felt like a NCAA tournament. And rather than sit on one game, I thought they did a great job with that. And there's just a lot of good players and a lot of good coaches, and they're everywhere. 25, 30 years ago, maybe they're at, USC and Texas, and that's it. And now they're really spread throughout the country, and it's really a compliment to all these guys that they can recruit, they can develop, and certainly build a program that they can bring to Omaha and be proud of. I think it's it's always nice to be able to say that you played on a field before the next tournament. So is it an advantage? No, but is it familiarity? A little bit. We only played 3 games last year, so it's not like we were here for 5 or 6. I don't think anyone will have a home field advantage. Certainly some people will have more fans. That'll create a little bit, but I really think it gets back down to yourself and your team, your dugout, the way you approach it. We played Arizona here last year, which we're very familiar with, and they play in a similar ballpark. Irvine's ballpark is similar to this, Long Beach State, Blair Field, and then Corbett Field, High Corbett in Arizona. That's big, and it can play big, especially when you got prevailing winds and all that. So, but it gets back down to baseball, 90 feet, throwing strikes, not walking people, playing good defense. And, I think anybody would say the same thing. It's just if you play well, you have an opportunity, and you just have to prepare. Your team would be the best answer for me to give you, and really just make sure distractions don't leak into your team and that you stay focused on the task. He's an All-American. He's got a power arm, great movement to his fastball. He's got a power breaking ball. He throws a ton of strikes. He doesn't give up hits. I was looking at the All-American thing this morning on Baseball America, and we had faced everybody except for him. We faced Gray, we faced Lorenzen, Eshelman. Berg's on our team, but there's, I think, 2 other guys on there. And so he's one of the best in the country. There's no doubt about it. For being a sophomore, to have not lost this time of year, to go through the Southeastern Conference, and to pitch on the road that like he has, and against opponents that he has, he's going to be as good as anybody that we faced all year. And they've done a terrific job of playing catch this season. So they got a strong formula, not only with clearly the offensive side, but the pitching and defense, I think, is as good as we'll see all season. And, that's, going to be a very tough guy to face. But certainly we respect him. We know he's good. And like Paul said, it's baseball, so we got to go out and compete against him. He was an average high school pitcher that they turned, kind of sidearm, low three-quarter sidearm. Senior year at Bishop Amat, Coach Nieto and Coach Beck decided to do that, and still nobody recruited him. He went to the CIF championship game. Coach Bruce, or one of our assistants, saw him, liked him. We had him on campus. We had no money at the time. We told him that we were going to give him an opportunity to be in our program and make his way. And, I visited with him for about 45 minutes, and he was just I could tell he was going to be good. I didn't know he was going to be this good, but it was a competitive awareness, locked-in guy, and academic, and it was impressive. And I felt good about it. I went out and saw him. He was chasing foul balls. It was a summer game, and he was chasing foul balls all over the place. And he was pitching the second game. And I watched him the entire first game, and nobody was into that game except for him, and he wasn't playing it. And so he showed me a lot of aptitude, really a lot of teammate, solid characteristics. And, we brought him in, and last year we lacked depth. And we needed it. We needed help. And he pitched over 50 games and was, he's really a setup guy. I think in professional baseball he's going to be a setup guy. He just doesn't have that big stuff that they look for in closers. So, but he's I think over close to 100 appearances in 2 years. He's competitive. He's resilient. He comes at you every day, and it's just been. One of those great college stories, a walk-on that made the team, Team USA for probably two summers now, and really just a great college baseball story. And it gives, I think, a feel for any young guy out there that feels like he's not wanted. And this is late. We got him in July of his senior year, and we all know, that's later than late. And it was just a credit to him that he took advantage of the opportunity, and he became what he is today. Hey, they got the best fans in college baseball. I think anybody would say that. They have the biggest support, one of the most beautiful stadiums in the country. They treat their players, very well. It's great. I think it's great LSU's here. It means a lot to college baseball, for the fans. There's no other fans like LSU fans that at least I've been on the other side. 98, 2000, when Brad Hopp hit the home run against Mark Pryor at Rosenblatt, and then again in 2010 when Paul and his team came out for the regionals. They travel anywhere, anytime, and it's just, like I said, a privilege to play against them. And I think it's great for college baseball that they support their program as well as they do. It needs to be a detailed game. It needs to be a clean game if you're going to have a chance to win. If you are sloppy, defensively or base running or not throwing strikes, then, more likely you're going to have a difficult time. So it's definitely different. We all know that. The game has changed. We know that. But they're, you're looking at LSU numbers, I don't know, some of those numbers still look somewhat familiar to they looked a couple years back. So there are some offensive players that are still out there. I mean, there's no doubt, and there's some physicalness to some teams that are still here. So we're not one of them. We hit 250 as a team, and that's we better be sharp, or else it's just that 3-run homer's not around the corner like it used to be. So. It's a detailed game, and I think everybody will be able to realize that after you play a few games on this field. Yeah, I mean, he's as good as freshman hitter that I've seen. he kind of reminds me of Coburnis and Renda a little bit, guys that were at Cal a couple years back. Whenever you're a right-handed hitter, to be that good, to be able to handle all sorts of different pitching is just really a credit to his hand-eye, his flatness of his bat path. The guy can just hit. I mean, just flat hit. And, you don't see that many right-handed hitters that can do that and handle power right-handed arms, handle left-handed arms. I mean, just watching tape and video of games and at bats, the guy, I'm still, it's a little bit of a mystery for me still on how to really get him out, because he's got plate coverage, uses the whole field, I'm sure, when he's going well. And, it's just amazing for a freshman to step into an atmosphere like that and to be able to handle that mentally as well, let alone physically. So he's as good as freshman hitter that I've seen in a long time, just in terms of average, and there's a little power, and he can run, and, he's a special player, and, we know that. In regards to what we do, it's been pretty good. Offensively, certainly on the West, runs are down, home runs are down. I mean, there's teams that don't have any home runs. They have like 10 home runs, 15 home runs. And we're talking good teams. We're talking, Omaha-type teams. So, if you're looking for home runs, then it's not, you probably don't like it. But if you're looking for, like Elliott said, well-pitched games, defensive games, you got to have runners, of course, to create havoc on offense. There's a lot of different ways now you need to manufacture runs other than just, bang. We gave up 8 home runs to LSU in '98 in one game, that again, when I was at USC. So things have changed. Hopefully you won't hit 8 Sunday, Paul. But if you do, we're in trouble. It's, I think the game's at a very high interest right now, fan support. So the games are quicker, which is always good for fan interest. So I think in a lot of ways it's in a great stage of college baseball era, but the game certainly has changed clearly offensively.